Will AI replace writers? Now that is a very good question, and don't worry, dear viewer, because as usual, I have the answers. I have all the answers because I am the greatest writer this universe has ever been blessed with. There is nothing I don't know and there is absolutely nothing I can't do. But who am I? You might be wondering, who is this strange man in the sunglasses and the hoodie? Well, dear viewer, I am a writer. I have written over 650 articles on Medium.com. I have over 27,000 followers on said Medium.com. I have made thousands of dollars writing on that one platform, and I am here to tell you that AI has not replaced me. AI will never replace me, because AI will always be inferior to me. In other words, AI is my bitch. Pardon the profanity, I am trying to cut it down. But to answer the question that I opened this video with, the answer is yes. AI will absolutely and unequivocally replace bad writers. But hush, little baby, don't you cry, because by the end of this video you will know exactly how to avoid being replaced by AI. Because, as I already said, AI is inferior to me, and if you watch this video until the very end, I will show you how you can do the same. Because although AI will absolutely replace bad writers, it will make good ones like yourself unstoppable. Allow me to enlighten you, dear viewer, and in turn, change your life. You see, the main problem with AI is the way people are treating it. Most people are treating AI as if it's a god. But this is not true. The truth is, AI is only as good as the person prompting it. Meaning, if the person prompting it is a low IQ chimp, the AI is not going to be some turbo genius. It's just going to be an accentuated low IQ chimp. AI is not magic. AI is not God. It is a tool. Sure, it's probably a lot smarter than you. In fact, it's probably smarter than everyone you know. But when it comes to creativity, not even close. Now, before you push back and tell me about all the amazing images it generates and all the songs it's generated, hold your horses, okay? I know about all that stuff. I've seen them with my own two eyes. Just relax your face. You need to understand that these things that the AI makes are not creations. They're mimics. They're replicas. AI can't create. It's not David Bowie. It's not Picasso. It's not Van Gogh. It's not Tame Impala. It's not Stephen King. You get the point. All it can do is copy what other real creators have made and mimic them in a way that looks cool. That's it. That's all they can do. They are not creative. Without you prompting it, it wouldn't be able to do anything. Think about it like this. AI is the horse at the front of the carriage. You are the person holding the reins and whipping that thing. They might be dragging the carriage, but you're the one that can make it go faster. If you're not there to get the horses to move, the horses aren't going anywhere. That's what AI is. Unless you're telling it what to do, it's just gonna chill. But I must be honest with you, dear reader. I did not always think this. There was a time when I was a non-believer. In fact, you could go as far as to say I was an active hater of AI. For whatever reason, I was very close-minded to this thing existing. I was a purist. I didn't like seeing all these posts on Twitter of all these people glazing AI, talking about how amazing it was and all this amazing stuff it could do. I didn't care. I was seeing these things for months, but I was just putting off actually engaging with an AI. I dismissed it as just some sort of crutch, some sort of trend, some sort of gimmick that would just eventually fade away, like NFTs. But eventually, something in my mind shifted. I don't know what it was, but one day I just decided, right, too many people are talking about this thing, I have to go see it for myself. I caved in, I gave in to the peer pressure, I made an OpenAI account, I logged into ChatGPT, I typed something in, and a few seconds later, my mind was blown. I had to pick pieces of my brain off of the walls and try and reassemble my mind. I couldn't fathom what I was seeing. Within a millisecond of writing something into this box, it started writing something back. I thought it was black magic. I could not believe what I was seeing. I hope you can understand the significance of this for me. I was in awe. There's no other way of putting it. I was in awe at what this thing was doing. And after just a few seconds of using this thing, I was hooked. I spent the next few days just glued to my computer screen playing with this thing. Pause. And after having a bit of fun with it, again, pause, my mind started to focus on how I could use this tool for my own selfish needs. Naturally, like the lazy idiot I was at the time, I just figured AI could do all the writing for me. I don't need to do any writing anymore. This thing's way better than me, surely. So that's what I did. I gave it a try. I started using AI as my main writing resource. It started off with very simple instructions. Write a self-improvement article in the style of Mark Manson. Write an article on productivity in the style of Ali Abdaal. Write a business tweet in the style of Tim Ferriss. At this point, I thought I'd found the gravy train, the train that would take me to multi-millionaire status in just a few weeks. But something was amiss. As soon as I began reading the content it was producing, I started picking up on some very noticeable patterns. In essence, everything just sounded the same. The same style of phrases would come up over and over again. It was the same monotone tone throughout all of the pieces that it wrote. There was no clear voice, there was no gravitas, there was nothing unique about it. In short, it was trash. And once I saw this, I began to see the same patterns emerging everywhere. I'd see them in tweets, I'd see them in Medium articles, I'd see them in YouTube scripts, I'd see them everywhere, which meant everyone had the exact same idea as me and was just using AI to come up with loads of content. For context, even my boomer dad was doing it. I remember he was writing a business email to another company and he knew I was an email copywriter some years ago, so he asked me to go over the things he'd written. I had a look at these emails and within 2 seconds I realized that it was written by ChatGPT. I turned to him in a flash and asked him, "Why did you use ChatGPT for this?" He looked at me as if I was Neo, looking through the code of the Matrix. "How did you know?" I told him, "Father, it's obvious." What's funny is, the person he sent it to didn't have any idea it was written by ChatGPT, which goes to show you that a lot of people still aren't really clued into this. And I think that's an interesting thing to keep in mind. Anyway, after that experience of seeing everyone using AI and content just becoming this massive AI soup, I got a little bit blackpilled. So blackpilled that I even stopped using AI for a while and began to just write from the heart. And ironically, this was when my Medium began to blow up. So because of that, you'd naturally assume I was right to drop AI. Right? Wrong. Because the truth is, avoiding AI today is like someone trying to avoid the internet in 2004. It's not a good idea. Think about those people who dismissed the internet back in the early 2000s. Let's just have a minute of silence for these poor souls who did not know what on earth they were talking about and how they were shooting themselves in the foot. Imagine people at that time being told about the internet, this revolutionary technology that would change the way people work forever, that would connect the entire world into one meta-society that you'd find online. And imagine these people being told this information and then in turn dismissing it as a fad. At the time, this perspective would make sense because there was no such thing as the internet, there was no reference experience. But in hindsight, they didn't know what they were on about. Where do you think these people are now? Well, I'll tell you, my granddad is one of them. To be fair, my granddad was not hip in 2004. I mean, he's 93 now, so he was in his 70s in 2004. However, he never used the internet. He never got the internet. And his life was very different to someone who would have an internet connection. For example, he can't order food online and have it delivered to his door from the local supermarket. He's in his 90s and he still has to walk to the supermarket, get his things, and walk back home. This is an inconvenience when you're in your 90s. Obviously, it's fine when you're 70, for him. He was very, very fit. The same goes for when he used to travel abroad. Obviously, he doesn't travel abroad anymore. However, there was a time when he used to go to Tenerife every year, multiple times per year. And how he would do that is he would have to go into the nearest city, which is about 20 miles away, and he would go to what's known as a travel agent. These things don't exist anymore, and if they do, they're all online. There's no point in having a travel agent physical location, because you're just losing money. Why bother when almost everyone has the internet and books their own flights now? And even for just finding basic information, he would spend days trying to find an answer to a very simple question. He'd come to see me at my house and he'd ask me the question, tell me he's been trying to work it out for ages. I'd just whip out my phone, put it into Google, bang, have an answer within seconds. And he would look at me as if I was some mega genius. When no, I just have a tool that allows me to be a mega genius. It's the same with AI. In essence, what I'm trying to tell you is, not using the internet did leave my granddad behind. His life was altered in many ways because of his decision not to learn about the internet and actually use the internet. It wasn't in huge ways, it was in incremental ways. A bit like the death from 1,000 cuts analogy. It was all these small things that gradually add up over time. And now, enough about my granddad, because this is all about you. By avoiding AI, you are not some edgy, trendy purist. You're just shooting yourself not only in the foot, you're shooting yourself in the face. And this neatly brings us to the present moment where I use AI every single day. And I can confidently say, hand on my heart, that it has made me a significantly better writer. But here's the thing. I don't use it as a replacement for my work. I only use it as a steroid. I'm already hitting the gym. I'm still pumping iron. I'm still hitting the weights. I'm still dashing on the treadmill. But AI is like my steroid. It puts all of the hard work I'm already putting in into overdrive. And if you actually take a step back and look at the history of technology, you'll see that this is what it always does. The promise with all of these technologies when they first come out is that you'll be able to work less. You'll have more free time, you'll make more money, and you'll do less work. But in practice, this isn't actually what happens. What really happens is you end up working a lot harder. You just end up working much more efficiently. Meaning, you produce more for the same amount of time you're working. Let's look at accountants as an example. Before computers existed, accountants would have to do all of their bookkeeping or whatever they do, I don't know what they do, by hand. And naturally, this took up a lot of time. But if you look at accountants now, they're not working 4 hours per week. They're working just as much as they did before computers. The difference is, with computers, they're able to produce 10 times more work than they would have done before the age of computers. They can work a lot faster, they can work a lot harder, they can take on more clients, but they're still doing the same amount of man-hours. This is the same with writers. Look at the technology of writing. Writing itself is a technology that Socrates was not keen on. As a side tangent, writing is actually a relatively new technology compared to speaking. Let's look at the development of writing. Writing started with quills, let's say. Then, after a number of years, someone created the first typewriter. And from there, a computer. And now we're at the stage where we have AI. Throughout all of these iterations, people weren't writing less. They were writing more because the technology allowed them to do more. This is what technology has always done, and AI is simply the next step in this long line of tools. So get this through your head, because a lot of people think AI can just do all the work for them now. This is not true. AI is not going to give you time off. It's not going to do all the work for you while you can just sit on a beach in Bali. Instead, it's going to help you write more. Now, will AI flood the internet with rubbish? Yes, it already has. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, AI slop is everywhere. But the thing is, it's very easy to distinguish between AI-generated content and top-tier UGC elite content. You're looking at it right now. Either way, I don't want you to worry about the lazy losers who are just going to rely on AI to do everything. You don't have to worry about them. They are not your competition. They're not going to get very far because they're not using their minds. And AI can only be leveraged to its maximum potential if you combine it with the infinite power of your mind. So long story short, my dear viewer, if you're a good writer, AI will not replace you. It will make you better. You just have to stop treating it like your slave and start seeing it as more of your sparring partner. Because it can do a lot of useful things that you can't. It can point out holes in your logic. It can offer new perspectives that you never would have thought of before. It can help you brainstorm headlines, content ideas, product lines. It can suggest stronger structures and give you an infinite amount of examples. It can compare your work to other existing pieces of content and give you constructive feedback to make it better and more like the successful pieces of content. And most importantly, it can do it all in a matter of seconds. It is like having a cheat code for any skill you want to learn. There is not a single thing you can't use it for to get better. It is your assistant. It is the best employee you will ever have. Ever. It doesn't ask for money, it doesn't ask for time off, it doesn't complain about work or benefits, it just gets on with it. I love it. But with that said, if you're a bad writer, you got some work to do because it's gonna replace you. And look, it's not doing it because it's evil. It has no choice but to. If you can't be asked getting good at this skill, if you can't be bothered to become a great writer, then AI is going to wipe the floor with you. But if you are good, if you do use it as a tool and not a crutch, then you, my friend, will be unstoppable. Click the first link in the description to get Magnetic Writing. It's my free persuasion masterclass writing guide thing. It's an email course. Awesome. Definitely get it right now. Don't delay. Click the second link in the description if you're super serious about becoming a digital writer in 2025 and you want to get in on a really sick pre-sale deal. It's not going to stay at that price forever. Get it now. And the logical question now is, after you just watched this incredible video, how am I supposed to use AI? Well, don't you worry, I've got you covered, because this next video is going to show you how I use AI properly to produce sick content and become a better writer. I will see you there. Bye-bye.